If you're looking around St. Louis and you're curious about the high-end places to live, the luxurious parts of town, because some people are surprised to find out there are some pricey parts of town here. There are some expensive places to live around St. Louis. So today we're talking about the top 8 most high-end suburbs around St. Louis, what it looks like, and just what you should know about living there. Now, if you're familiar at all with St. Louis County, or if you just look up any of these places on the map, you'll notice most of them are pretty close. Like, they're all within the same general vicinity. Aside from Clarkson Valley, like that's just the furthest west. For the most part, these are all like right next to each other, because what you'll notice is that a lot of the wealth in St. Louis County is very central. Like it's in the middle of St. Louis County. Mid-County and West County are where you will see the highest prices, the most income per capita, all that good stuff. So they're close, but they're still different. Like some of these places are bigger than others, some are pretty tiny. There's still differences you want to know about. And I mean, honestly, a couple of these are like night and day difference between what you'll see, what you can get, and just how it feels to live there. So enough chit chat, let's get right to it. Hey, welcome to the channel, or welcome back. My name is Jacob Peistrup. So 8 of the highest end suburbs in St. Louis. Now this is based on the average sales price of homes in the last year. So today, really we're looking all the way from $762,000 average on the low end, all the way up to $4.5 million on the high end. That's Huntleigh for you. And hey, by the way, if you're moving to St. Louis, regardless of budget, regardless of what area you think you're gonna end up in, if you want some help buying a house, buying a condo, shoot us an email or send us a text. My team and I are licensed realtors. That's what we're here for. We love helping our clients who reach out through YouTube, getting to share this city with YouTube, and helping our clients just learn the St. Louis market when they're moving here. So starting off, number 8, Creve Coeur, average of $762,000. Now, that's not cheap. That can get you a darn nice house in St. Louis, but it is the lowest in terms of average on this list. Now, look, for anything on this list, these are averages. You can go into any of these areas I mentioned today and find something lower in price. And trust me, you'll definitely find higher in price, but these are just averages. So if you've got a budget of $500,000 or $600,000, you can very well find something that is listed for $500,000 to $600,000. But I promise you, there are a hell of a lot of areas in St. Louis where 600 grand gets you a lot more than it does in any of these areas I'm talking about today. So if you're moving here trying to just stretch your budget as far as you can, this is more like a list of areas you want to avoid, because that's not gonna be what these are. Like, there are places where 600 grand gets you a brand spanking new house, beautiful in every way, but these 8 areas are not gonna be that. So Creve Coeur, beautiful, West County, in between Ladue and Chesterfield. So it's kind of a blend of both. Like Creve Coeur is in the middle. It's in between Ladue prices and Chesterfield prices. So higher than Chesterfield, not as high as Ladue. Ladue is on this list, we'll get there in a minute. But Creve Coeur is the biggest one on this list in terms of size and people who live there. So it's got a lot going on. You will see beautiful neighborhoods, and honestly, one of the biggest reasons people move to Creve Coeur or somewhere in that area is for work. So Creve Coeur has a lot of commercial, office, medical space going on. There's the hospitals, and really along Olive Boulevard, there's basically this whole downtown Creve Coeur. Now, no one calls it downtown Creve Coeur. Don't say that if you come here. I just use that to kind of give you an idea. Olive Boulevard in Creve Coeur is like the commercial center. You got your office buildings, corporate space, retail, a lot of medical offices. So a lot of people who work in Creve Coeur will live either in Creve Coeur, Ladue, Clayton, Chesterfield, somewhere nearby, just because there's a lot of stuff going on in downtown Creve Coeur. I'm not sure why downtown Creve Coeur is not a thing. That's just kind of me. But I mean, like downtown Kirkwood, downtown Chesterfield, like just to give you an idea, a lot of stuff going on. Now, Creve Coeur, it's a big area. You will see some older subdivisions, some newer built ones, some very high priced ones, specifically around Belle Rive Country Club, which is a very exclusive country club in Creve Coeur. But what you'll also notice in a lot of these areas is just like the infill neighborhoods. So Creve Coeur, you will see a lot of these places where you got one neighborhood that is mixed with the older ranch or the older split level. And then like in between, you will have the brand new custom, like 5, 6, 7,000 square foot houses going up in between those. So a lot of infill. So you got a lot of these neighborhoods that kind of stem off from the busier roads. So Olive Boulevard is going to be by far the busiest road in Creve Coeur, but then Ballas, Ladue Road, those are kind of some of the other, you know, busier roads. And then you have subdivisions that stem off of this. Beautiful, like mature, established subdivisions. You got trees everywhere. But then you do have, you know, the infill mixed in between the older side of the neighborhood and then the brand new, custom, more modern built houses. And since Creve Coeur is connected to Ladue, part of Creve Coeur will have your Ladue school district. So a lot of people moving here will ask about that. Same with Clayton schools, just because those are the ones that come up in conversation a lot with clients moving here. You will have Ladue schools in part of Creve Coeur. The rest, if it's not Ladue, will be Parkway schools. So either Parkway North or a little bit of Parkway Central for your high schools in Creve Coeur. You got a mix of all that going on. Now, next up, Clarkson Valley with an average of $900 to $1,000. I would not be surprised whether you live in St. Louis or you're moving here if you have not heard of Clarkson Valley. I think everyone who lives there or moves there just calls it Chesterfield. Like, that's what I do. That's what I've heard everyone else do. It's just like a small subsection that's like right next to Chesterfield. So if you're thinking Clarkson Valley, it's like a small, higher priced part of town, but very similar version of Chesterfield. Now, the one, I guess, biggest difference you'll notice, obviously it's a lot smaller than Chesterfield, but it all kind of centers around Forest Hills Country Club. So Forest Hills is a beautiful, very well-known country club right here in the middle of Clarkson Valley. So Clarkson Valley, it's a small part of town. There's like 2,600 people who live there. So really, it's Forest Hills Country Club and then kind of like the immediate surrounding neighborhoods around it. So it's not a huge area, but if you're familiar with Chesterfield, it's pretty similar. And like I mentioned, this is the furthest west on this list. So everything else on this list kind of centers around mid-county. Clarkson Valley is definitely a West County suburb. Right next to Chesterfield, it's just like tiny in comparison. But what you'll notice, a lot of these beautiful subdivisions, lots of these kind of brick, I guess, Midwestern style houses. I don't know how else to describe it, but like these, you know, brick estates, beautiful homes that both back up to the country club or they're, you know, one of the streets off of it, a lot off of Kerr's Mill or Valley Road. Couple subdivisions that kind of back up to the country club or they're right there like down the street from Forest Hills. Forest Hills, very nice country club. It's not like one of the pretentious exclusive country clubs. It's not the most expensive one either. It's very well known, very desirable, but they are on like a 3-year wait list right now just because like it is popular. Like it is popular, they are at their capacity, but it's not like a place like Belle Rive or St. Louis Country Club that is just ridiculously expensive to join, and it's like you gotta know everyone in there to even have a shot at getting in. Forest Hills, from what I've gathered and from what I've heard from people moving here, much more welcoming, much more open. It's just like they got booked during COVID and now they're on like a 3-year waiting list if you want to join the country club. Really though, it is beautiful. The neighborhoods around it are just kind of like luxury version of like Chesterfield. Chesterfield has some very nice areas. Clarkson Valley really mimics a lot of just the nicest parts of Chesterfield. Now, number 6 on this list is going to be Clayton, with an average of a little bit over 1.1 million. Now, Clayton is urban. Clayton is modern. Clayton and downtown Clayton looks like you're driving through like downtown St. Louis. If you don't know where you are, you would think you're in the middle of like downtown St. Louis driving through downtown Clayton. It's actually completely different. They are very separate areas. Downtown Clayton is very ritzy, very affluent. This is where you have a lot of your high-rise condo buildings, office space, commercial space. So Centene is in Clayton. Anyone who works for an investment bank, anything in finance, law, accounting, commercial real estate, any of those kind of sectors, a lot of companies will have space in Clayton. That's kind of like where it all centers in St. Louis County. Like it really looks like a small city. So Clayton is also the seat for St. Louis County. The county jail is right there. Like everything like government wise, you have a lot of that in Clayton as well. So this has a very, very urban feel compared to like Clarkson Valley. Like the Clayton is very urban. It's modern, it is urban, it feels like you're living in a city. So for the houses you'll see here, you will see condos, you will see townhomes, and you'll see single family houses, but it's a much more urban style. So you're not gonna see a huge backyard. It's gonna be more of like an urban style house if you're looking for a house. If you want a condo or a townhome, you'll see plenty of those as well in Clayton. Now, if you're the kind of person who wants just like a big backyard, lots of space, Clayton's not gonna be that. So really, like, you sacrifice a lot of space for the location, for, you know, the lifestyle. Being walkable into downtown Clayton is a huge plus if you live like right around the corner, like restaurants, bars, the Ritz-Carlton, like all sorts of luxury stuff going on in Clayton is what you'll find. And here's a funny thing. So actually the numbers I'm talking about come from the St. Louis real estate website. I believe, and they don't have any information on the website, I think with Clayton's 1.1 million, that's just houses. Because I'll tell you, condos in Clayton, way lower barrier to entry than the houses. So houses in Clayton will run you anywhere from like 700,000 to 7 million. If you want a condo, you will see options at lower prices. So in Clayton, you sometimes have to differentiate between the condos and the houses because there's a very healthy market for both of those in Clayton, and that's not always true for other parts of St. Louis County. So in the suburbs, that's not always the case. In Clayton, it absolutely is. There's condos, there's some townhomes, and then there's the single family homes in Clayton. You will see the brand new and modern, and you will see the older, more historic homes, especially around Old Town Clayton. You got a blend of both. Urban historic, urban suburban, modern historic, like you have it all in Clayton. My point being, it's one of my favorites. It is beautiful. It is a place you should absolutely check out, whether you're just visiting town or if you're interested in living there. It's got a lot to offer. Now, next up, Town and Country. Similar in terms of price, just over 1.1 million as well for the average. Town and Country, basically country-like living in the middle of St. Louis County. But think nice, think luxury country living. Now, this is what I meant when I said earlier in this video, between some of these areas, you will see like a night and day difference. So Clayton and Town and Country, they're not super far apart, but they're very different in terms of lifestyle, the neighborhoods, and the houses that you'll see there. And really knowing what kind of lifestyle you want if you're moving here is key. So full disclaimer, if you work with us, if you plan a trip to St. Louis to explore your options, which a lot of people do, we will have you drive through a bunch of areas. We're gonna have you drive through a bunch of different neighborhoods. You're gonna put some mileage on that rental car, I promise. We're also gonna have you get out, take a walk through the neighborhoods, walk through these parts of town, go get breakfast, lunch, and dinner in a different part of town every day that you're here. We want you to go see everything in different parts of town. You're gonna get frustrated. You're gonna put a lot of miles on that car, but after your 3-day, 5-day, 10-day trip in St. Louis, you will leave with a great understanding of different areas. You'll hopefully know what you like, what you don't like, and which areas you want to focus on more. From having, no understanding of St. Louis to then knowing where you wanna go, where you wanna focus on, and what areas you like. That is what we do. We've narrowed this down to a science with helping people figure out, okay, if you don't know anything about St. Louis, tell me what you like. What do you like to do for fun? What kind of neighborhoods, houses, or lifestyle do you want? And that's the key. Like Clayton and Town and Country, they're both gorgeous. They are both beautiful, but the lifestyle is not the same whatsoever. Like these are two polar opposites. You got one, the country, high-end living, the custom homes, the big backyards, that's Town and Country. Clayton, urban, modern, like you're like living in a miniature city. That's Clayton. The kind of person who's attracted to each one of these is very different. So Town and Country, similar in price, but you will see bigger lots, tons of outdoor space, parks, nature, walking trails. Like I swear, every time I'm either in Town and Country or I'm just driving through, like if it's a nice day out, people are walking the dogs. They're going for a run. They're taking the kids in the stroller down the street. Like it is a very outdoorsy place and there are lots of parks. I mean, like it is very easy to spend time outside in Town and Country. Like you will see Again, same thing as Creve Coeur, like more of these kind of infill neighborhoods with the smaller home that happens to sit on a couple acres mixed in with the 10,000 square foot house custom built on the same 2 or 3 acres. It is beautiful. It is a gorgeous part of West County. It has like that high-end country feel. You see the horses if you're driving down Clayton Road past Longview Farms, like you will see some of these bigger pieces of land with the horses outside, like, you know, walking around, like you will see people, you know, all day long outside. It is a beautiful part of town. You've also got kind of like the town center in the middle of Town and Country. It's not huge and it's not where I'd recommend going for like big errands you gotta run, but it's cute. Like there's a couple restaurants and like boutique stores in the town center. So it is a very beautiful part of town. All right, number 4 on this list, Westwood. Average just under $1.3 million. Westwood is like the smallest one on this list. It's like a village. It's a small village in the middle of mid-county, in between Creve Coeur, Town and Country, and Frontenac. Westwood is like a country club community, kind of, because Westwood Country Club is in the middle. So the area of Westwood is really just the country club, and then the subdivisions that are immediately around the country club. Now, it's small, very wealthy, very beautiful homes. Like there are some gorgeous estates around Westwood Country Club. So that's why you're looking at an average of just under 1.3 million for the houses here. So it really feels like both Town and Country and Frontenac in terms of the houses you'll see. So Frontenac is also on this list. You'll see beautiful, you know, newer built and custom homes. It is small, but again, like if you like Town and Country and you like Frontenac, Westwood is the same as both of those, and they're all right next door to each other. Number 3, Ladue. Ladue is a bigger suburb, very wealthy, very affluent. So in Ladue, you're looking at over 1.3 million as the average selling price. Ladue is your wealthy, your ritzy part of town. Like Ladue will have houses between 500,000 and 10, 12 million that you'll see in Ladue. Like you got all of it. It is one of the bigger suburbs on this list. It's got a lot going on. People move here for the school district, the custom homes, the luxury lifestyle you will see. Ladue's got it all. If you don't want public school, Ladue has some of the top rated private schools. Honestly, like all of these areas I'm talking about, these are where like the private school capital of St. Louis. Like, I don't know what it is. They're like a dime a dozen in this part of St. Louis. Like any of these suburbs will also have some of the top rated private schools. So Ladue, MICDS, and John Burroughs. I went to MICDS. Like everyone that I went to school with lived somewhere either in Ladue or one of these areas I'm talking about. So I know the area, and like I said, like there are some nuances with just like the different neighborhoods you'll see, the different styles. Overall, Ladue is very wealthy, very beautiful. Now compared to an area like Clayton or Town and Country, I would say, where you have like more of that kind of new money style, Ladue can sometimes have like an older money theme to it. And what I mean is, you will see the big, like historic estates, like you will see, you know, the older kind of gaudy mansions in Ladue, but it sits on 3 acres and it's 10,000 square feet. Like you'll see that. You will see the brand new, modern, custom built, but Ladue definitely has a mix of both. So Ladue has your old money and your new money wealth that you'll see throughout different parts. Some people will tell you Ladue is snobby. I, you know, spent several years of my life going to school there. Depends who you talk to. It depends. Ladue doesn't always have the best reputation just because, like, if you're from somewhere else in St. Louis, people can be seen as pretentious, snobby, uptight. Like, I can see where they're coming from with that. What I will say, it's very interconnected. It is a very, like, interconnected, close-knit community. Everyone knows each other. Like, this is where, like, the where'd you go to high school comes up, like, all the time, because whether you went to public or private, like, people know everyone in this area. Like, it is a very tight social network. You know, it's why you have the exclusive country clubs where you got to know everyone in there to even get in there. St. Louis Country Club, Old Warson, like that's the style of Ladue. Like, very wealthy, both the new money and the old money. That's the kind of style you will see in Ladue. It's like the Greenwich, Connecticut of St. Louis. Like, it is that wealthy style. everyone, you know, going around driving in a BMW, Porsche, Lamborghini, like you will see it all in Ladue. Your CEOs, your Cardinals and Blues players, your doctors, lawyers, business owners, like a lot of people with money, Ladue is where it's at. Now, again, like I was saying earlier, your money does not go very far here. So Ladue is where you will actually find houses in the 400s, 500s, and 600s. Just know the lot's gonna be tiny, the house is not gonna be very big, but people will fight over these houses to have Ladue schools, to have that central location, to be close to the shops, the restaurants, all the stuff going on around Ladue. People will fight and pay over list for these houses in Ladue. So like I said, like you got anywhere from 500,000 to 12 million in Ladue, you will see it all. And right next to Ladue, number 2 on this list, Frontenac. Average of 1.363, very similar to Ladue, right next door, a little bit smaller. So Frontenac has about 3,500 people who live there. Ladue is like 9,000. So Frontenac is like a little bit less than 3 times smaller than Ladue. Similar style. Again, it's like a blend of Ladue and Town and Country because it's in between both. You will see the older homes and you'll see the bigger, modern, custom-built homes throughout Frontenac. Another part where it's more of like an infill area, so you kind of see that theme. So it is smaller, but it's right next to Ladue. You will have Ladue schools for some of these areas in Frontenac, and the center, like the big draw to Frontenac, is Plaza Frontenac. So Plaza Frontenac, it's a shopping mall, very well known, very high end. Like all the designer stores and luxury brands will be in Plaza Frontenac. So Plaza Frontenac is a mall in itself, and then you have high-end restaurants around, like outside the mall, and in the same vicinity you have Lifetime Fitness. So huge complex that was just built 2 years ago. This is like the brand new luxury gym in Frontenac where everyone who lives in the area comes to work out now. So Plaza Frontenac is right there, and then you've got a bunch of shopping stores, grocery store, office space, like around Plaza Frontenac. So it's basically at the intersection of Lindbergh and Clayton Road. That's kind of like your commercial center, both for Frontenac and Ladue. It's kind of like on the border, so you got a mix of both. Similar to Town and Country, like beautiful custom estates, like gorgeous homes of all different styles. Beautiful, beautiful neighborhoods you will see in Frontenac. Now, number 1, you've been waiting for this. Number 1 on this list, and I mentioned it earlier in this video, Huntleigh. Huntleigh is number 1 by a long shot, actually. So their average is just under $4.5 million for the average home sold. Now, the numbers in Huntleigh are always wonky because it's like Westwood. It is a small area on the map. There really aren't many homes that even sell in Huntleigh. Like in the last 2 months, I looked, there was like one for $4 million. So yeah, of course the average is $4 million when you have one house that sold in the last 2 months. So don't pay too much attention to the average because it's kind of like, there's not much data behind it, I will say, because Huntleigh is a small area, not a ton of neighborhoods. It's more like a couple different streets. Huntleigh is wealth. Huntleigh is extravagance. Huntleigh is like every big family in St. Louis who's been here for decades lives in Huntleigh. Like Huntleigh is kind of like Town and Country in that it's like kind of like a country style because you have these big custom estates on these big pieces of land for being in the middle of St. Louis County. So you will see giant custom homes that will sell here, but you'll also see land and these custom lots for these homes that are to be built. So like you will see people spending like up to $800,000 or $900,000 per acre for some land in Huntleigh. People spend millions depending on how big the lot is and what it looks like and you know how good of a lot it is. People will spend money for land in Huntleigh, let alone the houses. So Huntleigh is like everything, the epitome of wealth in St. Louis. I kid you not. When I say tiny, I mean like there's like 450 people who live in Huntleigh. Like it's small. It technically is its own municipality, but there's not much to it. Like you have Lindbergh Boulevard going right through the middle of it, and then you have a couple different neighborhoods that stem off of that, like Denny Lane, Squires, Huntleigh Woods. Those are kind of the big ones. Deacon, another one, but really like you have a couple streets that stem off of Huntleigh where you will see these giant homes on big pieces of land, custom built in every single way, but there's not a ton of people who live in Huntleigh. It's a smaller part of town. So again, if you're moving to St. Louis, be it one of these suburbs or somewhere else completely different, if you want help buying a house, buying a condo, everything that goes along with that, send us an email, send us a text. Regardless of budget, regardless of what area you think you're gonna end up in, just get in touch with us. We'd love to help you out with that and help narrow in on the right area for you. So thanks for watching. I appreciate you. Hope you take care. Have a phenomenal day, and I'll catch you in the next video right here on the Living St. Louis channel.